Oh my gosh, I'm literally shaking.
Huh?
Just gonna open it and hope for the best.
What do you mean?
We have some news.
You got it. Oh, nice, man. Let me see.
Basically, I got approved for step 1 of my visa application. I just have to do the second part.
Yeah, man. Hey. We'll say that. Alright, let's get started. What do you want? My national insurance number.
I just got an email from the Home Office of the UK. This determines if I get my visa. It says, you have been granted permission to stay in the United Kingdom. Oh my god. You guys know I hate crying on camera. I've done so much of it in the past. Like, I try not to, but fuck. This is crazy. I've waited for this moment for so freaking long. Going to the store. What are we getting?
Some food for dinner.
I was thinking, what are we gonna have for dinner now that I have my visa?
What do you mean? You got it. Ross! Stuck with you for 10 years. What? Yeah, man. You guessed?
Yeah. You happy?
Yeah, man.
Now you really can't get rid of me. I got my visa. I am so excited. I have waited for this day for a very long time, and now I'm finally going to speak on my visa process. Before I get started, I want to say thank you to God, first of all, for putting me in this position, and also thank you to my boyfriend Adam for just being a great support system and being there for me. And y'all, like, it was a lot on my mental. After doing a lot of research, I found out that it was really hard to like get a visa in the UK, but Adam was definitely a great support system and there for me, and I'm really appreciative of him, because honestly I would not be here if it weren't for him, and you'll understand more as we get into the video. The first thing I'm going to talk about is why I didn't speak on my visa at all. If you've been watching the vlogs or watching my content for the last year and a half, you know that I've kind of always been vague about my visa. I did get a lot of comments and questions like on all of my social media platforms, DMs as well, asking like, how am I able to stay in the UK? It's not that I wanted to ignore y'all, but I was ignoring y'all, and it was only because I strongly believe in evil eye, and this was something I was not willing to let the negative thoughts of others ruin, basically. Like, I'm not saying you personally have evil eye. I know that there are definitely people in the world that prey on my downfall and hope to see me unhappy, and I wasn't willing to risk this because it meant a lot to me. So that's why I decided to keep quiet about my visa process and not speak on it in videos or on social media at all. But yeah, now that I've received it, this is like my tell-all. What does it mean now that I have my visa? The entire reason I applied for my visa was to be able to live in the UK with Adam and my son Crew. If I had not gotten my visa, I would have had to go back to America, and my relationship would have turned into a long distance relationship. We would literally be in 2 different countries. It's not like we're even a drivable distance from each other. This visa meant everything to me, which is why I was very emotional about it, because now that I've been with Adam for 2 years, obviously we are quite serious about our relationship. We're not just like dating to date, we're dating to marry, you know? Like, I know I want to spend the rest of my life with him, but now that I have my visa, I am able to live here for 10 years. It's 5 years that I get initially, and then I just have to renew my visa to stay for another 5 years. Now, as far as Crew, I did not have to apply for a visa for Crew because, if you don't know, Crew is a British citizen. He's half British and half American. So my son already has 2 passports. He has dual citizenship. He's able to live here perfectly fine. So the only person that we were relying on in our family situation was me. So the visa that I have is a parent visa through the family like visa route. The reason I decided to apply for a parent visa is because, again, my son is British. However, if you want to move to the UK and you are dating someone, you are able to apply for a partner visa, and you would just state that you guys are in a, like, I think it's a civil relationship or something. There's something there that says like you guys are together and you will be living together as a unit, you know. Technically I could have applied for a partner visa, and I think the process would have been a lot quicker than the parent visa. However, I was really against applying for the partner visa, just because the partner visa really depended a lot on Adam, and I didn't want my visa to depend on anyone other than myself. And I stated this in my application. I stated this to the UK embassy that I did not want to apply for a partner visa. I wanted to apply for a parent visa because at the end of the day, I am also here so that my son has a chance to be able to live in the UK if that's what he wants to do one day. Like, if we want to live here as a family, like, let's even say I moved back to the States, you know, now, and then maybe when Crew's like 15, he wants to move to the UK and live here. Like, I wanted to be able to have the flexibility to say, like, yeah, let's go do that. But I didn't want it to depend on anyone outside of myself and Crew. Basically, not having to depend on a man was what I put in my application. And as much as I love Adam, and I love that he was willing to like step up and take that responsibility of, you know, signing over forms to do the like partner route, I just didn't want that. I wanted to know that my safety net was always going to be myself. It did take a lot longer, like I said, but at the end of the day, I think it was well worth it. And I think it really showed the embassy that even though I am in love and I am in a happy relationship and I don't plan on going anywhere as far as my relationship, that I was really doing this for the right reasons, which is also like my son at the end of the day. Now, with that being said, the visa application is very expensive. So if you are trying to get a visa, keep that in mind. I can't remember how much it is for the parent visa because I didn't end up paying for it, but I think it was around £2,000 if I'm remembering correctly, and that is a lot of money. So the first clip y'all saw when Adam's like eyes got all big and he's like, oh, you got it? That clip was me telling him that I got a visa application funding. I don't know what the word is for it. I can't remember, but I got like a funding. I'll put that on the screen as well, and I'll link that down below if you want to try to apply for that. But basically, it was like an application to have my visa cost waived. And the reason that I was able to get that is because as a mom, a single mom, yes, I'm with my boyfriend Adam, but he is not the biological father of Crew. So technically, legally, I am a single mother. All of my money goes to raising my son. Like, all of my money goes to putting clothes on his back, food in his mouth, anything he needs. I'm the one that takes care of him because I am the sole financial care, is that the word, of him. In the case of my application, like, I had to let them know that me taking $2,000 out of my bank account to pay for a visa application that might get denied would be taking $2,000 out of my son's mouth. That would be taking $2,000 out of me being able to provide for my child, and I was not willing to do that. And so that's why I applied for like the cost to be waived, and in the end I was accepted on that basis. Now, they did try to have Adam pay for my visa cost, and I really like put my foot down when it came to them. Like, I was very respectful, but I let them know, like, I literally told you guys I don't want to depend on anyone, so you asking me to ask him to pay $2,000 for me to stay here, like, that's not, like, I don't feel right doing that. As much as Adam easily said, yeah, I'll do it, like, I don't mind, I was doing this on my own. I was applying for this visa on my own. I wanted to do it my way, and I didn't want anyone else's help. And so I was really like not okay with that. I was like, no, I'm not taking your money. I'm not letting you pay for it. And I told them that as well. Like, I will not do that. I'm not asking him for money. I think there's literally an email where, if I can find it, I'll insert it on the screen, but they literally were like, can he pay for it? And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not asking him for that. And at the end of the day, I feel like that was the right thing to do. I'm really happy with how I went through this process, and I'm really proud of myself. So that's how I ended up getting my fees waived. The next thing I'm gonna speak about is how long the process took. I started applying for the like visa waiver, like the fee to be waived, because you have to apply for that first before you apply for your visa. So I started that back in February of 2023, and then I got accepted in, I think it was July 2023, I put on the screen. And then after that, I then went and applied for my visa. So then once you've applied for your visa and you've sent them all the forms that they request, you then have to go to a biometrics appointment. And I did that in July, I believe, or August of 2023. That appointment is also where you will hand over your passport to them, and you do not get it back. They keep your passport until they make a decision on your visa. So as of today, I have not had my passport for an entire year. So keep that in mind as well. If you are applying within the UK, you do have to hand over your passport, and you cannot leave the country. Obviously, you don't have a passport to be able to leave the country, but if you request that your passport be sent back to you, it will cancel your application and you will have to start all over. And once you leave the country, you'll have to apply outside of the country. Next, I'm going to talk about applying for my visa myself. So when I wanted to start the visa application, I did a lot of research. I've looked up a lot of TikToks, but honestly, a lot of the TikToks and like YouTube videos are a bunch of old people talking these like legal terms, and I didn't understand shit they were saying. They were making it so complicated. Even like going online and like searching, how do I apply for this? It was just so confusing. I feel like someone like my age or younger needs to make a new like type of video that just helps everyone out. Like someone from the embassy needs to like get on social media and start making videos to help people out, because it was so confusing. But on top of that, it was either go the confusing route or go the easy route, which was to pay someone. But y'all, why did these lawyers, and what are they called out here? They're not called lawyers. They're called like something else. The people that are out here that can help you with your passport literally cost just as much as the visa. So to me, that was crazy. Like they would charge you the visa cost as well as their cost to apply for the visa for you. And I was not willing to pay all that money. Like I said, all of my money goes to taking care of my child. So to take out so much money to be able to do this, I was like, nope, I'm not doing it. I'm gonna figure it out myself, which is why I said I'm so proud of myself, because in the end, I figured it out myself. I would definitely do your research on exactly what kind of visa you're applying for. And then at the end of the day, I would say try to do it yourself. Don't pay these people, because yes, it is a little confusing, but once you like actually get going, I think you're capable. I think we're very much capable to do it on our own. I will link all the websites that I used down below as well to help y'all out if you're trying to like apply for your visa. So I already kind of went over the process of applying for my visa. I told y'all I applied for the waiver first, and then I applied for my visa, and then I went to the biometrics appointment and handed over my passport. And then after that, it was literally just a year of waiting. Initially, I was told that my decision would be determined within 8 months. 8 months passed. So then I called them, and mind you, when you call them, y'all, they don't know nothing. They cannot see your application, so they can only give you like general answers. So I called them after 8 months and was like, hey, I still haven't received like my decision. I don't have a passport. Like, can I have an update on what's going on? And they literally would just be like, what kind of application did you get? Okay. And then they'd be like, okay, so yes, it's 8 months, but it can be longer than that. And then I'd be like, well, how much longer? And they'd be like, well, unfortunately, we can't tell you that. It just, when you get your decision, you'll be emailed, and then you'll receive all your documents back. And I was like, so I was like, okay, do you have like an estimate of timing? And then they told me it can be up to a year. So I waited a year. I called them back. I still have not received my passport. This lady on the phone told me, well, yeah, 8 months to a year is usually the average timing, but depending on how many applications are going on at the time or how long they're taking, it could be up to 2 years. 2 years. of them having my passport and me not being able to travel out of this country. I have not been able to see my family because of this. And that was very hard for me. Luckily, if you watched my vlogs earlier, you know that a few months ago, my mom and my stepdad actually came to the UK. So I was able to see my mom, but I haven't seen my Nana in over a year and I really miss her. And I'm just so happy. Like, y'all don't understand. Like, y'all don't understand. Me getting this visa means so much more than just like, I get to live in the UK. It also means I get to go home and see my family as well and then come back to the UK and I won't have any problems, you know? So it's kind of like my freedom was handed back to me and I'm so appreciative for it. But yeah, they just kept telling me like, we don't know how long it will be. There's not really anyone that you can speak to. Like, it's kind of just when they make the decision, they make the decision. And so after hearing this, I was not happy at all because initially I was told 8 months. Then the next time I called, I was told a year. And I was waiting, like I waited the 8 months patiently. Then I waited for the extra 4 months for it to reach a year patiently. And I had heard nothing back. I had had no communication with anyone about my application. So I was very frustrated. And so what I ended up having to do was contact them through their email for like customer service, and I had to send a complaint. And my complaint basically said like, hi, you know, I was initially told 8 months, you know, I haven't seen my family because I've been stuck here without my passport, and as much as I want my visa, like I also want to be able to see my family. So if I could just get an update as to like when my passport will be sent back to me and when my visa decision will be sent. And I got a response, and that response was like, hey, we actually need more information for your visa, which was so like crazy to me because y'all had a year to tell me that you needed other documents from me that you never requested, you know? So I was a little frustrated about that, but literally I sent them the documents and then the next day they sent over the visa decision. So I was like, all right, whatever, you know? Had it been like another like 3-4 months of them trying to make a decision, I think I would have been very, very angry. But the fact that my decision was literally the next day after I sent those documents, I was like, all right, I'll give y'all a pass. But this is what I mean when I say like the system is kind of not very like organized. It's kind of all over the place, and there's really like no one in the embassy that can give you the information that you need. So yes, I guess if you wanted to spend the money to have someone do the application for you, that might be easier, and that might be like more helpful if you're like anxious like me and you're just always like needing that communication. If you do it that way, someone's able to communicate with you, you know? But if you do it yourself, it is just a lot of waiting and a lot of like not knowing. Now I'm gonna speak on the fact that I could not leave the country and what that meant, okay? So prior to moving to the UK, I was doing social media full-time, but I was also modeling. So if y'all remember, I had an apartment in LA. It was a 2-bedroom apartment with a like studio, or what is it called? A loft. And my loft was like my office area. And I was paying for that apartment myself entirely. It was me and my son there. And the way that I was able to afford living in such a nice and expensive apartment complex was the fact that my modeling career was paying a huge portion of that. And I'm just gonna be like honest with y'all. We all know that my YouTube career is not where it used to be. And you know, as a influencer, you always have to make sure you have a plan B, right? So at the end of the day, my plan B was modeling, and I was making a lot of money from modeling. Modeling pays really well if you're with the right companies. And so I was getting paid thousands a week to model, and that was paying off my rent easily, okay? Now, when I moved to the UK, I obviously had to quit modeling in the US because I was modeling in the US, you know? And so when I moved to the UK, I was not thinking. I thought that when I moved to the UK, I'd be able to continue modeling and then obviously continue doing my social media because I can do social media anywhere around the world. The social media part was no problem. I'm able to do social media, and I'm also able to still get paid because I technically get paid in the US. Even though I'm in the UK, my job is through a US company, like through social media. So that was fine. But when it came to modeling, I was not able to model here because in order to model here in the UK, you have to have like documents that say you have the right to work in the UK. And I don't have that because I didn't have a visa. And so to just like be very blunt with y'all, me living here was me living off of savings and living off of whatever, you know, little money I made on social media through like brand deals. And I say little, it's not little, but like compared to what I was making in the US, it was little to me, you know? And so that was a really hard part of it. I do want to say, if you are planning on moving out here and you want to get like your own apartment, like let's say you don't have a partner. Luckily I have Adam and he takes very good care of me. He knows the situation that we like put me in, because we put myself in this together. Obviously he wanted me to get my visa, but we did not know that that would happen, and therefore I was able to fall back on him, and he's been able to like help with obviously like rent. I don't pay rent here, he pays our rent, but that's my man, he provides. Even if I was able to pay, he would not let me. I'm thankful to have him. But if you are a single person and you're moving to the UK, just know you need to have at least, I'd say, a year and a half worth of savings to be able to pay for an apartment or pay for like a house or whatever for that amount of time, because that amount of time you are not able to work. You're not able to get a job. You're not able to like do anything that requires compensation from a UK person. Do you know what I mean? Now, if you have like a remote job, but your job is in the US and you're just bringing your laptop to the UK, you're able to do that because you're still technically a US employee. You're not a UK employee. But to get a job anywhere in the UK, you can't. So that was like shocking to find out, and I definitely freaked out because I have definitely always been like an independent type of person. I don't like to depend on a man. Obviously things have changed now that I fully like trust in my relationship and I trust my man. I love being able to depend on him. I love being able to be in my soft girl era. Before, I was definitely in my like cold, independent, don't need you, don't need a man type of era, which is what got me into this whole situation of applying for my application by myself, you know. But I'm very thankful for Adam. Like I said at the beginning of this, none of this would have been possible without his help, and I owe everything to him and to God. But it did make me realize that I do need to get more serious about my money, because even though I did have a savings when I moved out here, it definitely could have been a lot more than what I had. Do you know what I mean? Like I think my savings lasted me for about 6 months when I moved out here. And now being put in this position of being like, oh my gosh, like if me and Adam did break up, I'd have to go find somewhere to live, and I didn't have enough savings to live somewhere for a year or a year and a half. Do you know what I mean? Like it definitely made me realize I needed to save more money. But yeah, keep that in mind. Have those savings, have that backup money just in case, because you never know how long this process can take, and the communication, like I said, on their behalf is not great. Now I'm going to speak about why I didn't travel. If you've been listening, you already know. It's because I did not have my passport, and without a passport you cannot travel. And like I said earlier, if you were to travel outside of the UK, you'd have to request for your documents back, your passport, and once you do that, it cancels your visa application, which means you'd have to start all over, and that would have meant that I'd have to apply for it within the US. And I think even applying within the US, it's like 24 weeks is the average timing that you'll have to wait to get your decision back. 24 weeks is 6 months. So that's a long time to be apart from Adam and not be in the UK. So that's why I was not willing to like cancel my application or request my passports just for like a week holiday trip or a week vacation. Like it wasn't worth it to me. Therefore, I have not been able to travel. You guys have seen crew go to LA for the summer. Adam has been to Austria, Lithuania, Kenya this past summer. I've been here in the UK. I've been home. And I think I even mentioned in a vlog, someone asked me like, oh, why haven't you traveled, or are you going on any vacations? And I think I said, you know, I wanted to, but I had obligations, which were the concerts and the festivals that I had this summer, which is true. I was kind of like telling y'all the truth without telling you the full truth. But the truth is, I already knew I would not be able to travel outside of the UK, which is why I agreed to go to those festivals. So at least I had something to do during the summer, and my summer wasn't just me in the house while the rest of the family was, you know, living their best life. That was kind of like what I settled for. But that is literally the reason why I wasn't traveling. Okay, I've already spoke about not seeing my family, so I'm gonna skip that. Oh, another question I have gotten in the past on my vlogs was why I didn't buy a car. And again, I was kind of telling y'all the truth without telling you the whole truth. I kind of just always told y'all like, oh, I don't really need a car, like everything that I need to get to is really close, which is the truth. I don't actually need a car. Like if we're gonna use the definition of the word need, I am not the person that needs a car. I have Adam's car that I drive, and again, everything that I need to go to is within 5 to 15 minutes away from my house, or even like walking distance from my house. Like I could go to the grocery store right now, and like the full grocery store, not like a little shop or a little market. I could go to a full-on grocery store and it's only about a 5-minute walk from my house and get everything I need. Do you know what I mean? Even like go get my nails done. I can walk to go get my nails done. I don't need a car, but the real reason that I haven't even thought about getting a car is because I didn't know if I'd have a visa to even stay in this country. And to me, it was kind of pointless to buy a car in a country that I might get deported out of. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I haven't even looked into buying a car. But now that I have my visa, I still don't know if I'll get a car. Maybe I'll think about it. Like I know me and Adam have talked about it a little bit because he really wants me to get a car. But I don't know. I just feel like it won't be used as much. I don't know. I like being passenger princess, so everywhere I go, Adam drives me, and I prefer it that way. But maybe I'll get a car. I don't know. Just in case, I guess. That's what Adam's saying. Adam's been telling me, like, let's just get you one just in case. Like, just in case you need it. Maybe he'll be out of town with a car or something, and I'll need a car to go somewhere. But in my mind, I'm like, Uber exists. I literally just call Uber or call a cab. Like, it's not that serious to me. But I don't know. We'll see. Okay, and the last thing that I'm going to talk about is what does it mean now that I've received my BRP or like my visa? And it means a few things, which everything that I've said I wasn't able to do, I'm able to do. So now that I have my visa, I am able to work. I am also able to travel, and I can live in the UK. So those are the 3 things that are possible now that I have my visa. Basically, I have my freedom back. So I'm really happy about that, and it's kind of like a weight lifted off my shoulders. I feel a lot less stressed now knowing that my time here isn't like on a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. And overall, I'm just thankful that I get to continue growing my family and, you know, working on the progression of my relationship, as well as giving Crew a stable environment to grow up in. To me, that's what really mattered, was that Crew was able to grow up in a home with 2 loving parents. And now that I have my visa, I'm actually able to provide that for him and like make sure that he has that security of knowing that no matter where he is in the world, like me and Adam will always be here together. I hope this helped y'all. I know I was talking a lot, but hopefully it was all very helpful to anyone who watched this part of the video. And if you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. But that is basically everything that I wanted to speak about today. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. I love you so much. I'm Chandler Alexis and I'm signing out. Bye guys.